What's going on, party people? We are back, and with shocking, somewhat beneficial, somewhat negative, and somewhat positive news. Currently, over 20 WWE superstars after WrestleMania, after post WrestleMania Raw, have been released. Especially the most shocking one from being a former WWE United States champion and two-time NXT champion, Samoa Joe. I think it's shocking, but I think notable because I don't think they have anything creative for him. The peak of anything Samoa Joe was doing, I guess, when he was feuding with Brock Lesnar a bit for the Universal title when he was on Raw, and feuding with AJ Styles for the WWE title on SmackDown. But they were creatively not trying to push him because either he was too big, had very little charisma to speak of. He was not bad over the mic, but there's no intimidation factor when it comes to Samoa Joe. Let's be honest. Do I think Samoa Joe, like many of these people, didn't deserve to lose their job? I hate whenever I hear it's spring cleaning because I know like poor people that probably worked so hard to get to the top of pro wrestling, worked really hard, and it's hard to hear that Peyton Royce, Billy Kay, Wesley Blake, Bo Dallas of all people, Chelsea Green, Samoa Joe, and just under 24 hours have just been released. Some positive outtakes been put over this, some negative, primarily people making fun of it like Mike Cardona. You've also been released. It is not because you were any beneficial for the company. Do I feel like this should happen? WWE should obviously clean slate, obviously for wage purposes, and especially if the person's not profiting, not getting that much exposure, and not doing anything else to get over, and especially not benefiting the WWE as a brand. WWE has complete right to release their star, especially a guy that's been on commentary like Samoa Joe. Like, what else are they gonna put over for him? You could do as many dream booking scenarios as ever. Like, what would you do with Samoa Joe if he came to the main roster instead of NXT back in 2016? But other than that, come on, what else could we do? Samoa Joe could work somewhere else, and now over that he has WWE under his belt, there's going to be a bit more higher publicity, especially for Impact that kind of needs it. Ring of Honor, or at least AEW. Even though they would just be like, "Who's this Samoan fat guy?" I'm just saying, especially over a higher market like TNT is. I don't think Samoa Joe will be that welcomed, especially over the bookings of lighter wrestlers to get more over than premier heavyweights. Because Jake Hagar isn't that getting that advertised as a top threat. So isn't Lance Archer. I think the same will go for Samoa Joe. I don't think he'll be that well booked. Or else Brian Cage should be still be feuding Kenny Omega for the world title by now. But hopefully Samoa Joe lands somewhere where he finds would be more fit for his skills. There's also Mickie James. Mickie James was also released. Now this shocked me over. She was just in the Legends reunion show just January of this year. We know that she has a relationship with Nick Aldis, so possibly that we'll see her in NWA. That's all I can say over this because NWA actually doesn't have that much of a roster. It's pretty small, pretty all right. Uh, They do have some notable faces that you guys can remember from the Ruthless Aggression era. Always averagely traditional. They're well paced in their shows, and they have Thunder Rosa, Melina. I think they used to have Allison Kay, but I don't think she's there anymore. But by God, guys, NWA is a hard commodity of wrestling that you can actually watch and feel like, that's an all right show. And you can binge it. That's the best part. Like wrestling shows, you can actually binge. They used to have their episodes over on YouTube. Sadly, I don't know what happened. So, Bo Dallas has also been released. I kind of gave opinions on this before. because Bo Dallas, they have nothing creatively for him. They don't even let him be in top tier storylines involving his own brother, for God's sakes. I mean, like the Fiend is nearly buried in 2 gimmicks after being called Husky Harris, while Bo Dallas has been stuck with the B team, the social outcast, literally just job squad ass tag teams and factions. No semblance of getting himself over than the inspirational heel gimmick that he had back in 2014 to 15. And I'm telling you guys, every time you guys try to hype up some of these WWE mid-carders, being an NXT champion isn't worth anything. That just makes you just stay in the lower tier. You're not going to be publicized higher. Even when people say NXT was great in its heyday back in 2014 to 2016, let me just get this straight. Any of these guys came from being demoted or higher up the card other than the brand split? Because the brand split can make any lowly mid-carder be world champion. Which of these guys look like either face of the company if it wasn't for the Shield? Bo Dallas is better off going either to Impact. Heath Slater's there. There's more of a smaller frame for him to express his character. His namesake can work for him. Plus, it's highly more publicized. Plus, they get a more notable name. So Impact gets a bigger face and a smaller frame, and they get to extend their roster with a guy with a notable reputation coming from a big company. So hopefully Bo Dallas goes to Impact. Chelsea Green is also released. She's possibly also going to go to Impact because we know that I think she's in a relationship with Matt Cardona. But, oh my God. Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, this hurts the most because I don't know where these women are going to go. Maybe because they felt like so WWE manufactured. I didn't even suspect Billie Kay to even get released over her gimmick. Like, she is like a recurrent primarily on SmackDown, but being part of jobber teams like the Riot Squad, like, no essence in the talking ability. I mean, she tries to improve solo, and they just break them up out of nowhere, even though they're an average team. I mean, they're small frame. Billie Kay is not that good looking. She's possibly going to go over to AEW because no, she's not. I think she's with Peyton. Oh, yeah, Peyton Royce. So who's Billie Kay with? That's my thing. I don't know what's going to happen over with Billie Kay. That's my point. I hope she goes into third-party ventures. Possibly she goes to comedy or something because she seems like she's a talkative person. That's all I can say. You can do anything else than wrestling. That's the best part about pro wrestling. Like, it's a good source to plug your name out there, especially over in the WWE. That's the highest shout out you can get for any other ventures that you have because it's entertainment industry. It's not just pro wrestling. So, not only that, Kalisto's gone. He's possibly going to go to MLW or something because I know he's been an indie guy. That's also big. I don't know what Kalisto's going to do. He's boring. I understand they're trying to ship him over as another Rey Mysterio 3.0. They put the U.S. title on him. They have him beating top card guys like Ryback, Alberto Del Rio, beat teams like the Usos and the New Day. And then they push him over to be jobbing in feuds with Braun Strowman. And then in a crappy faction like the Lucha House Party, where he had the feud for like a month or two with Lars Sullivan, or a man that allowed that was in a same-sex adult video. That's all I'm gonna say because it's just stupid what gets allowed on WWE, to be honest. And seeing how this already played out, I don't know what to say. I'm just shocked that Kalisto hasn't been released sooner. Because as soon as you broke over the Lucha House Party, you weren't putting him more on television. You didn't give him any majorial gimmicks or character. he had no identity about him. His gear wasn't even that cool. Other than he was athletic, there wasn't anything interesting about Kalisto that pushed him over the rest. I'm shocked Lana didn't get released. Nikki Cross should have been released. There's many other people other than, Akira Tozawa could have been released. Angel Garza, Drew Gulak is still there. I am shocked he's not in the walking papers right now. Drew Gulak is still there, and nobody even knows what he is. Grand Metalik. I didn't even know Grand Metalik was still there. So Grand Metalik is still there, and I don't even know why. Lindsay Dorado, Jason Jordan. Like, come on. You know none of these guys are going to get over in the future. So why keep them? Naomi should have been released, but I know she's with one of the Usos, so that's going to be a dime of a dozen chance that she's going to get released. But Nikki Cross is a high chance. Yeah, Nikki Cross is a high chance that she's going to get fired. I can understand Sheamus. I can understand Titus. I can understand possibly Mustafa Ali, I guess, to peek in more to a market for minority's sake, and especially Angel Garza, because at least there's potential in Angel Garza. But, God. Humberto Carrillo is not released. That should be easy. Humberto Carrillo got nothing. Humberto Carrillo should be released as hell. Wet-haired, X-Pac, weirdo jobber that looks like if Psychosis never went to the gym. Now people are like putting up these videos like I actually have to care about him because he goes to the gym. All right, if you forgot charisma, interesting, eye-catching moves, a look, and anything else of interest. Like, what really is that special about Humberto Carrillo? You give me that, I give you $20. You give me that. I'm serious. You're possibly gonna tell me something that he did like CMLL, PCW, or some other garbage like that. Like, what's really the benefit of Humberto Carrillo? Other than that, man, I'm just a bit baffled. We're getting a lot of news over in the wrestling community, but some that we shouldn't be that stressed about. But losing some of these stars is a bit apparent because they are losing their jobs. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big advocator for people keeping their jobs, especially Samoa Joe, because even though he's a bit overweight, he's a bit indie-rific over his style. He's strong style. He's an average like final boss or at least an obstacle opponent that you can have as like a bodyguard. He can talk so menacingly, but I wish he could just add a bit more muscle tone over to his arms and just feel like more of a threat. And he's not a terrible wrestler, but I can understand why WWE had to let him go. Especially then, nothing creative for him since he feuded Seth Rollins with Kevin Owens when the Disciple stable was at its worst back in January 2020. And the best part of that feud was when Kevin Owens did that running up the ramp senton stuff. That's practically it. So I think we got more news. We'll try to go up on Twitter. Peyton Royce. Peyton Royce, I felt like that's a travesty. She also got released. Peyton Royce hasn't been released, but I'm happy that she took it the right way. And I understand that, she's got an average push, but she comes around losing clean over on television. There's no semblance over to booking her strong, being part of a jobber tag team. And I'm just gonna say this up front. Like, she's way undersized. She is too undersized. Like, I can understand why they're trying to push more athletic and tall women like Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair, because these women have a tone. They look like athletes, and they also look a bit attractive. And Peyton Royce isn't terrible looking at all, but you can understand like why they can't keep her. So it's a bit tough to hear. Oh my god, wait, we're gonna have a oh no. We're gonna get a fast 9. Whoop. So yeah. We're already getting tweets, even MJF. How do you drop a ball on Samoa Joe? Injuries aside, what a mistake. Stop posting the GIF. That's not nice. MJF hates black people. Oh my god. So we're just gonna go over this. Rhea Ripley, just a sad emoji. Who's the most controversial in the wrestling business? Well, at least Samoa Joe's alright about it. He says be well. Like a small little farewell. And WWE just posted just an hour ago that WWE has come to terms with the release of Peyton Royce. And I thought she was going over a singles push, or else you wouldn't have just released her. Tucker from Heavy Machinery has been released as well. Looking forward to telling my story. Like, I'm supposed to care. What really is that interesting about Tucker? Like, I'm not trying to bury the dude, but what's really that special about Tucker? You give me that, you get a puppy. Like, if it wasn't for the Otis storyline, there wouldn't be that much into Tucker. Hook, line, and sinker. But that's all I'm getting over here. So, yeah, we're getting a lot of interesting takes over on Twitter. Nick Aldis. Oh, yeah, that's him as Magnus over on TNA. I'm shocked there's no reaction to his wife getting released. Triple H performer contract expires in less than a year. He wants to do a retirement tour at some point. Who would like to see Triple H's final match in WWE? I don't even care at this point because Triple H barely gets any guys over now. You could see if you watch NXT. Any gamers on here? I don't care. If we censoring Brooks, so 1, 3. Okay, I don't care. Man, let's just see what else is happening, man. Because CR21 has something on Samoa Joe getting released. People have reaction, and he just said, "Why Peyton Royce?" I don't know why he's such a stand for these chicks that obviously have nothing to them in public. Like, come on, Ryan Alvarez, and he just typed Samoa Joe. What kind of headline is that? I guess that people already know about the headline, but come on, really? Gotta release these people, pal. Wesley Blake, I think, is the least interesting. They keep over on the main roster so I can understand why nobody was talking about him being fired. I guess because he's not that beneficial, other than the Forgotten Son stuff, and because the New Day kind of are in heat with Jackson Riker, and I'm shocked Riker is not released. I can understand, but also why. I don't think Jordan Devlin's either released as well. Oh wow, we have a lot of poor guys, not either not released or just not going to be released in a minute. But yeah, other than those headlines, that's about it. I don't want to keep up for this long. I mean, if anybody comes into the chat, that I don't think anybody else is coming. That's all I want to say. Thanks for watching.